So there's been a bit of discourse surrounding this newest Tekken update, and I'm going to try and break this down for y'all and catch y'all up to speed within the next minute. Starting now. Heihachi recently released with the newest update. With Heihachi came a new stage, similar to what happened with Lydia in the beach stage. Only difference is, this stage is $5, along with Heihachi being about like $8, like the other characters. The problem that people are having with this is, if you purchase the deluxe or ultimate editions, it came with everything in the year 1 pass. But the year 1 pass now apparently only counts for characters. So the $5 is separate from all of the characters that you're getting in this pass. Even though this year 1 pass also came with an avatar skin, but regardless. A lot of people have a problem with this because those passes were expensive. I think the ultimate edition is about $110 and that deluxe edition is about $100.
Oh my God.
So I can understand people's frustration with that, which leads to the Avengers level civil war that's going on Twitter behind all of the discourse. Apparently users have started review bombing Tekken 8, at least on Steam they have, which has turned into a discourse on Twitter about whether the $5 is justified being part of the pass or not. You know, it's just DLC, you don't have to pay for it. But I feel like this leads into a bigger issue that a lot of people are not noticing, whether it be because they don't play other genres of games, or maybe they're just missing certain pieces of the big picture, which hopefully I can break down or at least give some insight towards throughout this video. Now, most of the times I would be against review bombing because most people aren't doing it with any level of constructiveness. They just want a reason to hate online. But I feel like this one is slightly justified in the fact of give someone an inch and they'll take a mile. Where I feel like if Bandai Namco, Tekken, whoever feels like this worked in terms of justifying it not being in the past and then people buying it, who knows what else they might try and wordplay in the future, especially if they're trying to make this game last the next 10 years like it did with Tekken 7. Who knows what that'll look like later on down the line if they feel like
it worked this time, that people still bought the stage.
You know, that's just my level of thinking. On top of this, I understand that throughout all of the Tekken talks and Harada rants on Twitter, we all understand that game development is expensive and most of these games start off on some level of money lost, and they're spending the rest of the development hoping that they either sell enough copies or they make enough money back through microtransactions and other sales to be able to net some level of positive result financially throughout the course of the game. So I understand they're trying to make their money back. I just feel like it's important to make sure the consumer is getting their money's worth. What I mean by this is the fact that a lot of the microtransactions I have been seeing, regardless of whether you're actually buying them or not, are a lot of lounge items. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I barely spend any time in the Tekken lounge. I understand they're trying to add more features to make it more user friendly, but most of the time when I'm hopping on, I'm going straight to matches, whether it's ranked matches, player matches, lobby matches. I'm playing Tekken. I'm not really spending that much time in the lounge. But every single time they've dropped an event, whether it be like the Nike Chipotle events or, you know, costumes for the characters, they always find a way to add stuff for the avatars. And I'm not mad at it, but I'm just like, if we're gonna keep trying to push for reasons to get people to spend money on the game, I would argue let's make sure that the money being spent is turning into money that's actually worthwhile for the user to buy into. Like we saw with the Battle Pass when it first came out, where people were like, okay, idea of the Battle Pass, I get it. Every major company now is trying to find some way to incorporate Battle Passes into their games, regardless of whether it's free or $70 for whatever reason. But the first Battle Pass, a lot of people were arguing that it didn't even feel like it was worth the $10 because the stuff you were getting inside wasn't that worthwhile. We didn't really have a reason to care for any of what was in there. Now, of course, the passes have been getting better over time, but one can argue that, you know, that's very much a take it or leave it kind of deal. You either get all of the free stuff out of the pass by playing it, or you get your $10 if you already progressed through the pass and feel like all of the paid items are worth spending the extra money to just acquire them. And maybe this is just where my knowledge of other genres comes into play, because I was playing FPS titles before I started branching out and adding more fighting games into my library. But I was playing games like Apex, where one of the main problems, at least to me, was the fact that they started throwing collection event after collection event after collection event, where people are spending $160 for everything in the pack, still spending $500 on heirlooms for chances to get heirlooms through the item boxes. And the game still had core game issues. We were still having audio problems, and we were still having lag problems. Those still felt like they weren't getting fixed, but we kept throwing collection events out every other week, every other month, and people kept paying for it, even though there were core issues with the game. And I just don't want to see the same thing happen with this, where it seems like people are trying to defend the company like they're poor and they need the money, when, newsflash, these are multi-billion-dollar companies. I have for the longest gotten so tired of hearing people try to defend these companies as if these multi-billion-dollar companies are just beggars on the digital streets, and we're just like, we have to give them their money so that they can survive. I understand that, but to me as the consumer, I want to make sure that the money that I'm spending is worthwhile. I went back to go play Tekken 7 because I really miss Miguel, and I didn't realize how bad Tekken had it. They had y'all paying like $3 for frame data in Tekken 7. Apparently they must have gotten the hint off of it, because a lot of that frame data is now present in 8, but we're still starting to see a similar problem where these DLC characters are starting to come out, and you know, a fighting game player's favorite thing to do is tell people to, oh, get in the lab, you just suck, you need to get in the lab to get better. Okay, well, when I finally decide to go get in the lab to figure out what I'm getting beat by, I'm not trying to spend $7 or $8 to be able to do so. Especially when we have access to online tools like Tekken Docs, where all of the information exists there. I just need to know what's even going on the screen. What am I getting hit by? What is the player throwing at me? And I know, seeing as how people were having these conversations about the $5 stage, somebody was there during the Tekken 7 time justifying why we needed frame data. Yes, we need the frame data, but $3 for it is not worthwhile. That y'all are getting scammed. To me, y'all are getting scammed with stuff like that. And I don't want business practices like that to end up invading this game, because people are falling for development costs. You know, this stuff is expensive. Yes, I get that. But just because it's expensive, I don't want these companies to feel like we can just add every little thing to the game and lock it behind a paywall and justify it with the ideology that, oh, we need the money, so y'all are gonna have to pay up if y'all still want access to this. I don't feel like that's fair. Along with the fact that even though, yes, they're giving us free stuff, which we do appreciate, we're still sitting on top of boatloads of in-game fight money with nothing to do with it. I'm pretty sure I'm sitting on multiple millions of fight money in-game with absolutely nothing to do with it. It's literally just a number that goes up every single time I fight, and there's still nothing to do with that currency. But we're adding in-game currency to buy the outfits and to buy the battle pass and all of this type of stuff. They said early on that they were going to find more ways to incorporate fight money, and we haven't seen anything about that yet. And I don't want this to come across as me being part of the problem of, oh, here's another fighting game player that just can't be happy and they're mad at everything. No, it's quite the opposite. I want to see this game do well. I just feel like there's a better way to balance this out, like they're doing with the story mode, where, okay, the story chapters are free. It's giving you a chance to try some of the characters out during the story chapters, and if you end up finding one you like and want to play a little more in depth, then sure, you go and buy the character. You're supporting Bandai by doing that, and they're able to see their pockets filled because, okay, this gave people a reason to enjoy this character in the story mode and potentially play this character. Not, oh, we're gonna lock their frame data behind you actually spending the money on the character, and that's how we'll get them to spend the $8 or $9 or however many dollars per DLC character for the remainder of the next 10 years that this game lasts. Maybe if they're going to be adding more avatar skins, let's make more game modes where the avatar is prevalent. Where, okay, right now we have Tekken Ball, but once again, that's mainly with the actual in-game characters, not the avatar. I think Grand Blue did something where they were making like some Fall Guys rendition with the avatars in the game. I'm not saying they need to add Fall Guys to Tekken, but just more avatar mini games, or just use the lounge area. They got pool tables and claw machines and all type of stuff that'll give people reasons to use the fight money that they've been accumulating over the past 8 months. It'll give people more reason to care about their avatar appearance potentially, and also gives people more access to game modes outside of just Tekken that are hopefully enjoyable for everybody to play. I'm not trying to be a Tekken doomer of just like, oh, this game is trash. At this point, it might as well just die. No, I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying let's find ways for the money that they've put into the game to be worthwhile. If the characters are going to be here, let's find more ways to enable newer players to gain interest in the DLC characters outside of them getting their ass whooped online in ranked. Matter of fact, Sparking Zero drops in 2 days, and they said that their base roster is what, like 180 something characters. I'm pretty sure, how many characters do we have in Tekken? Like 32? If I'm doing the math roughly right in my head, Sparking Zero is going to start off with 5 times the amount of characters that we have. And you know they're going to find some type of way to add DLC characters, battle passes, all of the same stuff that they've added in Tekken, with potentially more base game content available than what we have in Tekken. Now, I get it's probably different dev teams, but you're starting to understand my point of, I don't understand why we're giving certain groups slack when other games are able to provide these things. Why are we acting like these companies are not able to provide these services to us? All of those extra foosball tables and claw machines and all of that stuff in the back that's there for show, give us some type of way to use it and allow us to use fight money, at least to start giving people reasons to implement more of the features that we put in the game outside of just Tekken. That's just food for thought. You know, we're seeing games like Sparking Zero out. We'll see how much content they have available at launch. But I'm just saying, we'd have had the game out for 8 months. I feel like there's a lot of progress that can be made within these 8 months outside of a character dropping every like 2.5 months. Old character skins coming back for like $4 or $5. A battle pass for 10. And then just a hollowed out Tekken lounge with no reason to be in there for real. I'm not trying to be a Tekken doomer. I'm just saying I want this game to do well. But I don't want this game to seem like a cash grab, because every single feature that you try to access ends up being locked behind a paywall because Tekken is like, we need money. Need money desperately or not. That's all. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I genuinely appreciate you, because this is something that was on my mind, and I've had so many times where I'm like, man, I wish I could be in a call with certain people to discuss these type of things. And I remember I got a platform, bro. I make YouTube videos. I can upload these videos and talk to y'all in the comments about these things. Maybe I'll go live and entertain the conversation while I'm on. But these are just things that I think about in terms of longevity of the game, regardless of whether I'm a developer, I'm a top player or whatever. I just want to see these games thrive, especially in a current era where it seems like everybody just wants every game to die, every game is bad, I want to see these games do well. I don't want to see my favorite games die off, and I want to see these games, these companies thrive when they do good work. But I just want to see them do the good work for us to be able to give them their flowers while they're still here. So if y'all like the video, sub to the channel, let me know in the comments, along with any other ideas that you might like to see them try and implement. And who knows, maybe wishful thinking, maybe a Tekken dev will see this, and who knows. But I just wanted to get this off my chest. That's all that is. I appreciate y'all for hanging around this long, and I'll see y'all in the next video.